MVP is going to talk to you guys about the second fight on the prelim card. It is Jamall Emmers, 20-8, versus Gabriel Miranda. He is 17-7. Let's talk about Gabriel Miranda first, the Brazilian fighter. This dude is a jiu-jitsu nerd disguised as a tough guy. Like, he's got a big mustache. He looks kind of tough, kind of macho. And when he goes out there to bang, he throws them things. Like, he really does. He punches with all the belief in the world. He has one win by TKO, and everything else is by submission. This is the epitome of a jiu-jitsu nerd. This dude is world-class jiu-jitsu. Third-degree black belt, can do anything he wants to do on the mat. When he takes your back, it's over. So much so that fight against Shane Young, now Shane Young missed weight, but that fight against Shane Young there, it's laughable. I don't even know if any punches were thrown. The fight's over in less than a minute. Just gets a rear naked choke. Neck crank turns into a rear naked choke. But this guy, this is what he does. He wins by submission everywhere. He's everything. Now, he has 2 losses in the UFC. The 2 losses are to Benoit Saint Denis, BSD, an ass-kicking Frenchman, and then he fought Morgan Charrier, another ass-kicking Frenchman. We're talking about 2 mean dudes who strike and just knock people out, right? So he's been knocked out twice. Well, 3 times in his life, but twice out of the last 3. So everybody's going, this guy's got no chin. He can't fight. But when you watch those fights, not only do they go to the second round, both of them. So this whole talk about Jamall Emmers knocking him out in the first round is just wild to me. But they both go to the second round. But even in that Morgan Charrier fight, he's throwing something. Like they throw punches at each other and end up in a slight clinch in the middle of the cage. And then he ends up with his back to him. And he thinks about doing a spinning back fist, but he thought he was clear. He's running away a little bit, just trying to clear out of the damage. And he's trying to disengage. And Morgan Charrier closes the distance. When he thought there was going to be a disengage by both parties, Charrier moves forward and catches him and clocks him when he wasn't ready for the punch. And he gets knocked out. I think he's a tricky, good fighter. And I think people are sleeping on him, bro. I think he's really game for a sub. If you ever think this man's going to win, it's by sub. Now, he might frustrate you because he's out there doing this nonsense and not really fighting. Trust me, he wants to get on the ground and sub somebody. But he doesn't have wrestling to get it there. I don't know how we get there. Now, in a 15-minute fight, are we going to end up on the ground sometime? Pretty sure we are. If we do, it's over. It's a wrap. I'm letting you know. It's a wrap. All right, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the odds here in a little bit. Then there's Jamall Emmers. Jamall Emmers does struggle with making weight. This is significant because we're in New Mexico City. We're up at 8,000 feet. And if you don't make weight, there's a problem there. He's huge for the weight class. Oh, by the way, I don't want to leave out that Miranda fought BSD at 155. And he made it through the first round, which is super impressive. A lot of guys didn't do that. These are at 45. He's a 40. We're doing this fight at 45. So, yes, his first fight in UFC was short notice at 55. Just so we're clear. Now we're down to 45. Okay. Wanted to get that out of the way. Now, we look at Jamall Emmers. Jamall Emmers has been fighting a really long time. Jamall Emmers' claim to fame is he's the first guy to ever defeat Corey Sandhagen back on the regional scene back in 2017. Unanimous decision. That's an impressive win. No shade there. Lost to Julian Erosa on Dana White Contender Series. What an amazing loss to have. You run into DeRosa. So you go back to, Erosa, excuse me. You go back to the regional scene. You go undefeated for a while. Come back to the UFC. Lose again. It's crazy. Then you finally win. Now, the Pat Sabatini loss, everybody's going to talk about it because he lost by submission. But I don't put a lot of value into that. It was an ankle lock. The fight was stupid. And no punches were thrown. It's just silly. It was an ankle lock. What I see from Jamall Emmers when he fights, first thing is he's huge for the division. Both these guys are pretty advanced in age, right? They're both about 35 years old. Jamall Emmers is really good at maintaining distance when he strikes. You're at the end of his strikes. You're at the end of his punches. You're at the end of his kicks. He maintains that separation between him and his opponent. He doesn't crash in when he strikes. There's a lot of guys who want to throw combos and they crash into the bag. They crash into the pad holder. They crash into their defender. And what this does is, this means if you have a reach advantage, you don't even take advantage of it. You take it away from yourself because you keep moving in. Imagine you have a bat and you're trying to beat somebody up. But instead of staying at max range where you can swing that bat and being out of harm's way, you're in a phone booth trying to swing a bat. There's no point, right? There's nothing to talk about here. Jamall Emmers is really good at managing distance really well. The problem with Jamall Emmers is his fight IQ is fucking -10, bro. He just makes dumb decisions in the worst moments. You'll be like, man, what are you doing? Shooting takedowns when you shouldn't, not wrestling when you should. This is a black belt. They tell me he's a jiu-jitsu black belt. Man, I've watched him not wrestle when he should. His loss to Jack Jenkins isn't that big of a deal to me. I don't know if it's a real loss. It's a split decision loss. One judge had it like 30-27. He doesn't wrestle until the second round, though, when he has a wrestling advantage. Jack Jenkins is a little dude from Australia, can only kick. Knocking out Dennis Bazooka, if you ask me, it was an early stoppage. It really was. Bazooka's alert, defending himself intelligently. It was an early stoppage. So the last time I saw him, he was getting knocked out by Nate Landwehr, and I predicted that. Night Train's not playing with you. Night Train showed up and said, let's do this. And they start swinging, and they start landing, and one guy buckles and the other one doesn't. Shout out to Nate Landwehr. Love Nate Landwehr. That dude's a dog. So losing to Nate Landwehr by TKO, that's not relevant in this fight because that's not going to happen. Knocking out Bazooka and it getting stopped early, not too relevant to me outside of the fact that people think Miranda has no chin. Look, man, these odds are brutal. These odds are brutal. Who's the better fighter? Jamall Emmers is a better fighter. He's got more weapons. He's a better all-around fighter. He can strike. He can grapple. He's more athletic. He can keep you at a distance, all that stuff. If they get on the mat, start spamming your live bet button and start spamming Gabriel Miranda by submission. I don't know if you're allowed to change it by method in the middle of the fight. I don't know. But Miranda's going to win by submission if we get on this mat. He's that slick. He's amazing. Jamall Emmers should win this by knockout. Now, here's the problem. Everybody says Jamall Emmers by knockout first round. It's never happened. Jamall Emmers Gabriel Miranda's never been knocked out in the first round against world-class strikers. So where are we coming up with this? That concerns me. By the way, Miranda by submission is plus 500. Jamall Emmers by TKO is plus 125. You guys already know what I would do in this situation. I'm telling you what I would do in this situation. I would come in here like this. Well, first off, I have Miranda to win by submission in the first round. That's a whole nother flyer. But let's just say Miranda by submission, Jamall Emmers by TKO. Straight bets. And if I went in here and I put... Now, I wouldn't put a whole unit on this. This is just nonsense. Right? But I'm putting 200 out the door. I'm getting back 225 if we win by knockout. I'm getting back 600 I'm putting 200 out. I'm getting back 225 if I get it right. Quarter of a unit. 2 units out, quarter of a unit back. It's not much. It's 12.5% return on your money. Or Miranda wins by sub and you tripled your money, 300%. So 300% versus 12.5%. All I know is it's green. Now, you could lose 100% of your money if it goes the distance. If something else goes wrong, like Emmers gets knocked out, I don't know. But the only way you should be betting on this fight is if you're an adrenaline junkie. Like, you just got to have some juice on it or you can't just watch it. Jamall Emmers is not reliable enough to say, yo, that's a lock. He's just not. His fight IQ is dumb. But I think he should go out there, maintain the distance, look good, style on this guy. But if he gets to the mat, it's over. That's how I feel. So give me Jamall Emmers to win by knockout. But somebody, please, for the love of God, an MVP out there with the courage, go sprinkle that Miranda submission and cheer for the best. Just put $20 on it, bro. It don't hurt nobody. Just put $20. You can do this, dude. You can do this right here. Now you put 120 out the door. Oh, no. You break even. That don't work. We can't do that. We got to make it worth our while. We got to make it worth our while. Oof, we'll put 140 out, get back 225. Oh, no, 20 would have worked. I'm tripping. Yeah, you put 120 out, you get back 225, or you get back... oh, no, you break even. No, yeah, you're right. You're right, Rico. See that? I do this in front of you guys. So you got to be careful. Somebody be courageous. Somebody be courageous. Shout out to Miranda. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Good luck, y'all.